Okay, let's go. Are we ready? Are we ready? Hartley?
You let go.
Hartley? Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Welcome to the Selectmen's Meeting for September 17th, 2019. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could I get a roll call, please?
Wayne Miller present.
Don Klein present.
And Sue Licio is present. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I would like to announce that the meeting is being tape recorded. Chairman's additions or deletions. I have one. Did you get a copy of the Townsend Housing Authority
Yes, I do.
announcement? Okay,
Yes.
all right. So we'll add that to the announcements.
They have another one too, the National POWMA,
Eh,
MIA one too.
Okay, so that's two. Thank you. Any other additions, deletions?
Nope.
Okay. Public comment period. Anybody in the public want to comment on anything? Okay. 2.1, appoint Felicia Lord as a senior counselor for the Recreation Commission contingent upon the passing of a Cory check and a medical exam.
I make a motion that we appoint Felicia Lord as a senior counselor for the Recreation Commission contingent upon passing a Cory check and a medical exam.
Second.
The only thing that I'd want to add to that is end probationary period if applicable.
And a probationary period if applicable.
And the reason I'm saying that is now that she's got the year-round program, we've got to be able to differentiate, and I'm not sure which this one is, so we'll just vote on it, and if probationary is necessary, then it becomes that. Ready to vote?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2.2, discuss appoint a representative for the Board of Selectmen on the Capital Planning Committee, effective September 17th, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. So this is the yearly sign up.
I did it last year.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Huh?
I knew that was coming.
So, does that mean you've been anxiously waiting for it to volunteer?
Not anxiously, but I knew it was coming. Yes. Since I've been on it before, I'll do it.
Well, that's nice. I mean, that's good because you have been on it before, so you know the routine. That's great.
Who's the chairman of the Capitol?
It's Lindsay Moran right now, but I don't know if she's going to continue doing it.
And I don't know how those folks that are on it now, when they're up for a reappointment or whatever.
Should be listed on the,
Oh, that's the capital plan, though, is the one that
there's representatives from
representatives from
there's
finance.
finance, planning,
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen.
So we'll let Jim figure out who
Figure it
else
out.
needs to be on there, okay?
Yeah.
So want to nominate,
I move that we nominate Don Klein as representative from the Board of Selectmen to the Capital Planning Committee effective September 17th, 2019 to June 30th, 2020.
and I'll second that. All those in favor, quick?
Aye.
Aye.
Doesn't make any sense.
2.3, appoint Elise Johnson as the Youth Services Young Adult Librarian effective September 17th, 2019.
I make a motion we appoint Elise Johnson as the Youth Services Young Adult Librarian effective September 17, 2019. Does this have an end date, or?
Well, it's an employee.
She's already employed, okay.
Yeah, she's already
So
employed.
does it need the other
I don't believe so. I don't believe so because, that was one of the questions that I asked.
Okay.
She's an existing.
Oh, she's there now.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
She's an existing employee.
Okay.
If that is different, then they can get back to us.
Then I second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-1, authorize the chair to sign a budget amendment for the CDBG grant as requested by the grant administrator, Communities Opportunity Group. This is 3-1. And I just, I mean, all they asked for was the chair to sign it, to just amend the amount. It turns out the amount was going up. It's adding $42,932 in income to the program. But I just wanted you guys to be aware that I was signing that. Okay, so that's really, I mean, an official okay for the record would be a good thing to do. So could I have a motion?
I make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign a budget amendment to the CDBG grant as requested by the grant administrator, the Communities Opportunity Group.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3-2, review, discuss second reading of policy 052019, contract procedures. I actually might want to push this one off to when Jim is here. When I looked at this initially, what we talked about was it's fine to have, what we're creating is a policy, but the procedure part of that is his thing. That's an administrative part. So I had asked that it be split out, and it's not in this one, so I would just as soon pass over this until next week, okay?
Okay,
Until next meeting. Is that okay with you guys?
that's fine. I will add it to the list.
Thank you, appreciate that. Process is working, Don. 3-3, review, discuss second reading of policy 062019, weapons in public buildings. Did you guys have a chance to review this again?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think there were changes on the second page,
Yes.
adding firefighters and official duties and maintenance personnel can use the tools of their trade.
Right.
So, could I get a motion?
How does this one have to be worded? Just that we've read the second, or approving it?
We're approving it, we're approving the second reading, which makes it a policy.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the second reading of the policy number 06-2019, weapons in a public building.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And 3-4. Review, discuss second reading of policy 072019, animals in public buildings. Want to do a motion? And then we can talk about it.
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the second reading of policy number 07-2019, animals in a public building.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We did hear from a couple of folks because occasionally there are special programs, like at the library or the senior center, where someone might come in with a therapy dog. So in those kinds of you know how, they do it like in nursing homes a lot of times too. Somebody that has a therapy dog that they bring to different venues, and the dog comes in and spends some time with each of the people that want to spend time with the dog. There are also other occasional things that I think it was Stacy said. They might have a program where somebody brings an animal in, you know, like birds of prey demonstrations like that. So I don't know, I was trying to think of how to word it, and I'm thinking therapy or comfort animals are likewise prohibited except for specific department-sponsored programs.
Well, that's one of the other question I had, is that from time to time, there are rabies clinics held in the public buildings here. I know that they were held in the fire station for many years. And if you do this, then they can no
Okay,
longer
so-
hold those clinics.
So if we say, okay, so therapy or comfort animals are likewise prohibited except for occasional department-sponsored programs, right?
That would,
Does that work? And that just takes care of those kinds of situations. Okay, so I think the intent is that a person can't just bring in their therapy or comfort dog. It's different than an actual dog that's trained for that's used for a disability.
now now that we've made another change to this, does this have to go back for another second reading?
No, just as amended.
Just
Yeah.
as amended?
Yeah, that's what we did the last time.
Okay.
So, all those in favor of this as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
So I will give that copy to Jim. 3.6, discussion of pending contract agreement addendum between Underwater Solutions, Inc. and discussion of pending contract agreement addendum between Underwater Solutions, Inc. and the town of Townsend regarding inspection and interior cleaning of the Highway Street and Fitchburg Road water storage tanks. This was
Are we
something.
skipping over it? Because this is not what I have here. I have for the bridge.
Oh,
I
I'm
thought.
sorry,
All right, I see.
I've got my,
Yeah,
so this, I'm sorry,
this is
3.5, review, discuss, approve a change order amendment number 1 for the Main Street Pump Station Access Bridge Replacement as requested by the Board of Water Commissioners. So, Adam had put a note saying it looked okay as long as the town was okay with it, so I'm assuming the town was okay because they submitted it and it's a net credit anyway, right?
Right.
It's in our favor,
Right, okay, so, can I get a motion on 3.5?
Yes, I make a motion that we approve the change order amendment number 1 for the Main Street Pump Station Access Bridge Replacement as requested by the Board of Water Commissioners.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, this one is a discussion, 3.6, discussion of pending contract agreement addendum between Underwater Solutions, Inc., Town of Townsend regarding inspection and interior cleaning of the Highland Street and Fitchburg Road water storage tanks that we had voted to sign outside of a meeting on September 3rd. Somebody was asking why that hadn't been finished yet. My understanding was, you're here. My understanding was, and I think it's important that we talk about it, but the reason that that hasn't been signed yet is there was one piece that wasn't meeting town council's recommendation, and that had to do with insurance. Has that worked out?
So, they have included it. It's an additional $4,800. In our discussions,
What discussions?
Dawn and I,
So I spoke with Jim last week, what we could do to move this forward. One of the questions was the insurance, which is, according to what I've been told, is over and above what is normally required on a similar type contract by other communities. So I asked Jim, I said, does that, if we require this, is the town going to pick up the additional expense? So I went to Todd as the liaison to the commissioners, and we asked if they were going to take on this insurance, and what that additional cost is, and bring it before the board for final approval, but understanding that this is over and above, and it's going to cost us additional amount of money.
Do you have any questions?
No, I understand it.
I understand it too, but I don't necessarily agree with it. If our council is saying this is the amount of money, if our council is saying this is the amount of money for this kind of a project, why would we pay for them to be insured?
the original contract and the original insurance is the exact same contract and insurance requirements that every other community has done. It is an industry norm. You had an interim superintendent walk away for the same reason, because the additional insurance was unreasonable and not necessary.
I'm sorry, Todd, I am not going to go against town council's recommendation.
I sent a note to Jim. I asked that council be on a con call with us this evening, because I knew this was here.
Well, council is scheduled to be on a call with us for later, for executive sessions. Where are you at with this?
Well, this is the first time this has come up, so this is the first I'm learning that the insurance requirements. My questions are, how was this bid out? Was this, did they know about this beforehand?
What, the contract, the additional insurance?
No, the insurance requirements for the job, because
It's a standard job, so the standard quote came in.
Which council has since
Reviewed, and then he sent back and said it's not enough insurance. And it's not just these two, it's Ty and Bond when they were doing the road work. Ty and Bond is a major engineering firm in New England. They should have more than enough insurance. I don't understand why all these contracts are coming back with additional insurances when they're all industrial norms. The interim superintendent works for all 5 major ones, subcontracts,
But-
works for 3 other municipalities.
Todd, I don't want to get in a back and forth about, you think it's too much and.
I can back it up.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Our council is saying that this is not adequate insurance. And if the difference needs to be paid by us, that doesn't make any sense. Why would we pay to make sure that somebody else is insured?
Because you're requesting for things that are above and beyond what should or is normally required. It's, as an industry.
What I would suggest, since we're obviously.
Can we move this down to the very end, please? Because
I would
maybe.
prefer not, because I potentially have to go back to work, and this has been dragged out.
I am not going to make a decision without having our town administrator here. I mean, the conversations took
And this
place.
is part of the problem. Water, I mean, you've dragged it, this has been dragged out for a multitude of weeks.
Todd, we voted on this on September 3rd. contingent upon approval of town council of the contract. September 3rd, okay? So don't tell me that we're dragging our feet. We said we would vote, we would sign it out of session once all of that was settled. If it's not settled, I'm not signing it. If it's not settled, I'm not signing it.
So if it comes down to it, I will direct DEP in your direction, because the sanitary survey starts tomorrow. This inspection was supposed to at least, if not been started and completed, was supposed to at least have a contract in line. So the timeframes of when the contracts came in, when you agreed upon it, and where we are now is solely in your footsteps.
The chair is going to move these to the end of our meeting because I can't, I don't have enough information.
So someone who works in water tells you what industrial norms are, can back them up, but you don't have enough information.
I'm not gonna take anybody's word for it unless I have town council.
Well, the contract needs to be fixed in the meantime anyway, if we do change it. So my suggestion is we authorize the town administrator to have a discussion with town council about a norm.
That's in your packet. That is in your packet.
I just wanna know why is Todd, what is Todd saying is correct? Why are we requiring that? Those are my questions.
And that's the reason that
This is the
I
first I've
asked.
heard.
The reality is that we could choose to say, to ignore what town council is saying, okay? I personally, I don't see why town council would tell us something unless they thought it was necessary. And we're responsible ultimately for any liability. All right? So this is liability insurance. And if my lawyer is telling me that I shouldn't be, that it's not enough insurance, I mean, these people are responsible for coming in and doing work that potentially could cause harm to the whole community that is on the public water.
I personally would like to hear from Adam what the reason is. I don't like taking things secondhand. I'm sorry.
What do you mean secondhand?
It comes through Jim, it comes through, Adam, it has
Did you
said it
get
there.
this?
Yes, I read it. I don't understand his reasoning, and I wanted to be able to question him personally. And I think that's appropriate. So, and that's the reason I requested Jim to have him on a con call this evening.
I will try to see if he's available now. I'm saying, are you available to talk about insurance recommendations for water projects? But it's not working. Do you have his, I don't have his cell in my phone.
you could probably take 3.7 off because Becky refused and quit. This is macro. Because of the insurance.
Okay. Three. Hey Adam, how are you? I'm gonna put you on speaker. Okay, you're on speaker, Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Sue.
So we're meeting, and Todd is here from the water department. Jim is not here yet. I think he's on his way. Anyway, we're talking about the tank cleaning contract.
Okay.
And we're told that it's $4,800 for the company to get more insurance, or insurance to the point where you had made the recommendation for that recommended amount. But the water folks are saying that they don't understand why we're recommending that amount, because the company is saying it's higher than they pay for like jobs elsewhere.
Okay. So, and you don't have the benefit of Jim being with you at the moment. Otherwise, he would have relayed this to you, because he and I did speak about it. I think it was yesterday. Might have been Friday. And so, yes, we reviewed the contract, and we were asked to add to modify the contract as we saw fit, or to do what we ultimately did, which was my suggestion, which was add an addendum to the contract, given that the contract was somewhat basic. And preparing that addendum, what we did, as we would always do, is we went into our standard forms, which I know I've mentioned it to Todd, I think once, and I mentioned it to Jim a few times. We would recommend in the future our standard forms be used, because it provides the protection and simplifies our review. But in any event, we added in the form of an addendum the provisions that were missing from the contract, and that included the standard indemnity clauses as well as the insurance provisions. And when we did that, we included the standard insurance provisions that we include with every contract. You know, we have different provisions for services than we have for goods. We have different provisions depending upon the amount of the contract, but it wasn't anything that was particular to this specific type of contract or this specific service. It was just our general insurance clause. And so when I later received word from Jim through an email exchange that the vendor had indicated that the numbers were higher than what the vendor was able to provide, I said to Jim, well, I deferred to the town, to the selectmen, of course, and to the water department as to what they think is appropriate. This is not a legal question as much as it is a practical question. What amount of insurance is sufficient to be protected? If the amount was so low, if they were insured for, $100,000, I'd say, as a matter of law, legally, that is insufficient, that I could not in good faith recommend that. But we're not talking about 100,000. We're talking about the difference between $1 million per occurrence and $1 million in the aggregate versus what we have in our standard forms, which is $1 million per occurrence and $3 million in the aggregate. So I defer entirely to you as a board, and to the water department based on your familiarity, the water department's familiarity with this specific contract, and what you think is sufficient enough coverage for the town in the form of these different policies.
Okay, so what is the difference then, just on the aggregate?
That's my understanding from what I saw in the email back and forth, was that in either event, there was a $1 million per occurrence limitation on coverage. But my standard form provides also for $3 million in the aggregate, and the first response I saw indicated that all they were able to provide was $2 million in the aggregate, and then they quickly corrected that and said, no, actually it's only $1 million in the aggregate. It's $1 million per occurrence and $1 million in the aggregate.
Okay. That explains to to me.
Yeah,
Well, that explains it. Well, it explains the difference, and I understand, the standard contract, but I guess
I mean, I'm deferring to you.
I mean, is that enough?
Andrew, yeah, it is. For the type of work we're talking about, I
I mean, they're
went to-
cleaning
I
our
went-
tanks. I mean, I
Well,
drink the
it's not-
water.
It's not, all right, so this is part of the, initial part of the problem. It's an inspection of the tank. Part of the inspection of the tank comes with, if there's it's not getting in there and cleaning it. The part of the inspection is measuring the depth of sediment on the bottom. If they find something less than 4 or 3 inches, and I forget which the contract is, it depends on how big the tanks are and what the contracts say, they just back it up. It's part of the normal inspection process. When you talk about, and I hate the way they worded that and saying cleaning, but it's part of the same service. When you talk about cleaning a tank, it's emptying it, it's taking the tuberculation off the inside of the tank and usually spraying it down and things like that. This is probably one of the most basic things that goes on in water storage tanks. They go on all the time. I went through about 8 different communities. All of them had the same standard for insurance, the 1-in-1. And so we were trying to find out why it was being requested, that the 3 million aggregate was being requested
So it's because it's a standard service contract.
from him.
Right.
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 And it's not necessarily what our industry has as norms.
So, now that I understand that, I think we advise Adam to revise the contract to 1-in-1 and move along.
And move to sign it out of session.
out of session, yeah. I'm in agreement with that.
Then I'll put that as a motion.
Okay, so that's a motion and a second?
Yes.
Is that good with you, Adam?
It is.
Okay.
Okay, been moved and seconded. All those in favor of Adam making the change to 1 million and 1 million in the aggregate, reducing it from 3, and we will sign out of session as soon as we receive that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks,
Of
Adam.
course. Thank you.
Talk to you in a while.
We'll call you back.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so that's done.
So when you sign out of session, does that mean?
That means as soon as we get
As soon
it,
as,
Jim calls us,
Carolyn and
we,
Jim will call us and
All right.
tell us it's ready to sign.
Okay, just because if it could be tomorrow, that would be outstanding, because DEP's on sites for the same day.
I'm sure he'll turn it around.
I'll change it to one number, I mean, so it's not.
Okay, great.
And I'm sorry, could you just stay for the
Yep.
next one, please?
Yep.
That is 3.6, pending contract agreement, no, 3.7. Pending contract agreement addendum between McEnroe Consulting LLC and the town of Townsend. You said before she's
She-
pulled out?
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
I made the same request.
so here, I'll give you, because Todd and I and Jim have had discussions back and forth last Wednesday, as I said in Mass General. The same thing that held true for the prior one held true for this. Her standard contract is 1-in-1,
Yep.
where we required 1-in-3, and so we,
So it's the same
again,
situation.
same situation, went back to her, and she says, absolutely not, I don't want anything to do with this, and I'm walking away. And that was the end of it.
Because she wasn't entertaining the 1-in-3.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, here's a question I'm gonna ask to Todd. Is there any chance that she would reconsider if we went to 1-in-1?
I can ask.
Well, I mean, this actually puts it back in your court anyway,
Yeah.
okay? It puts it back in your court.
Now you have clarity as to what the
Yeah.
standard contract will be.
All right.
I think we-
Now, the one thing that I do want to ask, though, is you gave a good explanation as to what this cleaning
Yeah,
situation is, all right? When we're talking about this appointment, is it 1-in-1 typical for them as well?
Her contracts, I mean, like I said, she works for Ty and Bond, Stan Tech, AECom as a subcontractor. She's currently working for Lincoln right now in somewhat of the same capacity, kind of helping them. And that's the standard contract. I actually, you can get a copy of it from Lincoln if you want, but that's, her insurance is more than sufficient for what she's doing.
I wish we had asked Adam, because, I mean, that's, one was service, this is,
Well, it's kind of services
This
again.
is kind of service
Yeah, I would
related
do the
as well.
same thing, like she said, it's back in your court. We'll reapproach the contract if she says yes. If not,
Okay.
then we'll move along,
Okay. I can do that.
if that's okay with you guys.
well, if you, so are you saying you'd make the same motion to reduce the 3 to 1
Correct,
if she was still interested?
yes.
Yes.
But we're not voting on that if she's
Correct.
verbally told you.
I'm-
No, I'm trying to think of how we can expedite it, okay? And to have the same kind of a,
So if we make a motion to authorize.
make a motion
The
to
Board of
sign
Water
out of
Commissioners.
session for 1 and 1, you know, for 1 million and 1 million in the aggregate, if she is still willing to do the job, okay? If not, then you would come back to,
Fine.
your board would have to come back to us with someone else,
Okay.
okay?
I make that motion as stated.
And I
Good,
will second it.
and I'm glad it's recorded.
Okay, well, that's the part.
Okay, so moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So you understand what we did then, Todd?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you check with her and she says okay, then get to Jim and tell him all we need is for Adam to revise that one as
All right.
well,
Thank
okay?
you. Thank you very much for your time. I don't think-
And could I make one other comment on this while we're at it? This wouldn't have been necessary if we had had the ability to discuss this with Adam up front, as to why this was being required. Because I did some research on my own, because I know a couple of people that
You
work in
do have the
water.
ability to discuss it with Adam. You can call him anytime you
Yeah, we're
want to.
also-
You can call Adam anytime you want to.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I have that ability then in the future?
Yes.
Okay,
You
'cause-
sign that?
Yes.
okay,
We,
believe me,
you have full access to town council. If you have any questions at all, you can call town council,
okay,
okay?
yep.
For things having to do with you personally, for just general questions, I don't understand this, you can write him an email and copy Jim so that Jim knows what you're asking.
Okay, I wanted to be very careful because I didn't want to overstep Jim's authority
Well,
too.
that's not, I do that all the time.
Okay.
If there's, no, I don't mean I overstep his authority.
I know, it just came out funny,
But
I'm sorry.
I do the same thing, if I have a question.
If I have a question, I'll send it to both of them.
Right.
Okay,
I'll say, hey, I'm wondering about this, and I know that he might have to turn around and ask Adam too, or clarify it with Adam, so I send it to both of them.
okay, I want to make sure.
That's perfectly fine, but I mean, you know, it's not a question of one or another in an opinion, it's a question of, are we all talking together, and there's nothing that precludes you from doing that.
Okay.
Yep, you can call them anytime.
Well, thank you for getting that done. I
Um,
understand a lot better now. It wasn't being explained to me at all.
well, I hadn't heard the latest.
I hadn't
I
either,
hadn't
but-
heard the latest part, which,
Adam.
like Adam said, if Jim was here, Jim would explain that to us, but he wasn't here, so.
You all set, Doug?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
very
Todd.
much for your time.
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, 3.8, review, discuss, approve the ride-along agreement as requested by the Fire EMS Chief, Mark Boynton. This is, Is there anything, I don't understand totally what this is.
I'm gathering that, I had to read this thing through 2 or 3 times, but I believe
Is
this
this just one
has,
of his
to-
policies?
this is a policy, because they do ride-alongs. How EMS works. When you're going through a program such as becoming an EMT or a paramedic, there are certain requirements that you have to ride along
Right.
in an ambulances, okay? This, I believe, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Mark, but I believe that what this is an update to something that we had in
That's what
the
it,
past.
that's what it looks like. It looks like Mark asked Kate to look at it. Kate looked at it. She said she beefed it up, and this is the result of it. So
Right, so
all of the
this
policies come
protects
to
us and the person doing the ride-along in case something happens. That's
Okay.
what this is for.
So can I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the ride-along agreement as requested by Fire EMS Chief Mark Boynton.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3.9, review sign proclamation for Neshoba Valley Technical School District regarding their 50th anniversary. Congratulations, 50 years. Do you have a copy of that?
Yeah, it's on the back.
Yes, it's
Oh,
on,
it's on the
there, it's on the
back.
back, yep. You want me to read this?
I don't think you need to read it. You can.
Um,
Would be nice.
Okay, well, whereas the Neshoba Valley Technical School District, which opened its doors to students in 1969, continues to proudly partner with our district member towns of Ayer, Chelmsford, Groton, Littleton, Pepperell, Shirley, Townsend, and Westford to provide a public vocational technical education with skills and advantages, and where Neshoba Valley Technical School District provides the highest quality academics, technical education possible to prepare our students for college and career paths leading to a success in ever-changing technological world, and whereas Neshoba Valley Technical School District strives to promote citizenship through safe and inclusive atmosphere, encouraging a diverse population of students to become positive, productive members of the community, and whereas Neshoba Valley Technical School District meets and exceeds the rising needs for technical education at a high school and postgraduate levels and continues to enhance and expand its curriculum to meet the needs of the ever-changing workforce to meet labor market demands, including courses in advanced manufacturing, dental assisting, design and visual communications, health assisting and veterinary education, as well as engineering, robotics, biotechnical fields, and programming and web development. And whereas Neshoba Valley Technical School District continues to provide the quality vocational education in traditional fields such as automotive technology, auto collision repair, carpentry, cosmetology, culinary, early childhood education, electrical, hospitality, plumbing, marketing, television, and theater arts, and whereas Neshoba Valley Technical School District continues to partner with local businesses and industry as an advisory member to enhance the planning and operations of our technical programs and the continued cooperation placement work-based learning experience for our students, creating future workforce pipelines, and whereas Neshoba Valley Technical School District enhances technical education with rigorous academic preparedness, meeting or exceeding the guidelines set forth by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and formally designated as an early college high school by the Massachusetts Department of Education by providing students with an opportunity to earn college credits while enrolled. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the town of Townsend, Mass. Recognizes and celebrates 50 years of excellence at Neshoba Valley Technical High School during our 2019-2020 school year. In witness thereof, I undo set my hand and cause the seal of Townsend, Mass. To be here and affixed, to be signed this day of September 17th, 2019.
Did you make a motion?
I make a motion. How's that? I'm not, because I'm not reading this again.
Second. I'll second.
Thank you, Don.
I think it's over here to sign.
And I have to say that,
It's the
My-
blue one.
yeah,
We're gonna have to figure out what we have to sign after,
There's a
too.
bunch of sign here's.
I know of one student that's is a student there, and he is currently enrolled as both a college freshman and as a junior at the school.
Yeah.
Earning
a
his
friend of-
college
A friend of
degrees.
mine, too.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, she was going to Middlesex Community College. So she'll be graduating and have her associates at the same time.
Same time, yep.
Yeah, yeah, there's some really good programs they have there. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What is today? 17th. Here. 310, discussion regarding e-cigarettes / vaping. One of you asked to put this on.
I did, just in watching the news, I wanted to make sure that, and I know Linda, you're here from the Board of Health, so, I asked Carolyn to reach out to the Board of Health to see if it was a topic that was gonna be on their agenda. I just wanted the public to make it known that it is on your agenda for the next meeting.
Yes, yeah, Monday night.
Because
23rd.
I know there's been several
23rd.
towns that have restricted, I don't think you can outright ban the sale of the products, but I just want the public to know that it is gonna be a discussion on your,
Yeah, we have, and anybody who wants to attend, we have Joan Hamlet coming from the Leominster Tobacco Alliance Group, if I got that name, if I hacked it, sorry. She will advise us as to what's going on with the Mass state law
yes.
and what other towns are currently doing, so that we can take that into consideration. Definitely see it in the news as well.
Yes.
A lot of concern with the illnesses and now deaths. But you know Mass state law is gonna trump anything that we do first, so we wanna see what they've got planned, if anything, first.
Yeah.
But we will look at, now, we already have a regulation too, so we will look at what we can do within the regulation, which is great why it's not a bylaw, because we can get that done sooner than going to town
Okay,
meeting.
perfect, thank you.
And because I knew this was on the agenda, I reached out to Adam,
I saw that.
and I think you've got a copy
Yeah.
of that. And I'll forward that to you too.
Excellent. You can have this one.
Yeah, it's just a note from Adam about, there are some communities that have done some banning, but
All right, so good, yeah, I love having the examples, that's great.
they're facing some lawsuits, it sounds like, too, so,
Okay, then we'll-
just for your information.
Yeah, we'll raise that with Joan too and see what
Yeah,
she's.
and
Yeah.
if you're talking about a regulation, you're gonna have to run it by Adam anyway, so just let Adam know what's going on, but I too am concerned about all of it seems like it's the young people, that are suffering the most from this, and,
And Monday's your meeting? I'm sorry, Linda.
Monday, did you say?
Monday, the 23rd, yes, 6 o'clock, if anyone wants to attend.
Monday, the 23rd, 6 o'clock downstairs, right?
Yep,
Okay.
Problem with the baby. Problem with baby is not so much the
Town administrator updates and reports, he's not here, so I'm gonna skip town properties bylaw discussion. We'll just pass over that for next time, okay? Get that one, Dawn?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. 4.2, Board of Selectmen announcements, updates, and reports. The only thing that I would like to say is, I'd like to express my condolences. We lost two really neat guys this past week. One was Lenny Smith, and our condolences go out to his family. The other that I just heard was Steve Meehan.
Yeah.
Steve passed?
Yes,
Passed
I'm
on
sorry.
Saturday.
Oh,
Saturday, yeah.
He was given a
Um,
rough diagnosis last month, so.
Yeah, and he died suddenly. And our condolences as well to his family and to ourselves. Both of these folks were
Yeah.
active in the community for a very long time, and Steve in the,
Steve was the president of the Squanicook Rail Trail
Yeah.
Committee.
I coached
Yeah,
him.
I knew he was sick. I just left the committee,
Yeah.
so.
I don't know who it is.
I coached
great
hockey.
guy,
Yeah,
great, really great guy.
quiet and gentle.
Yeah,
I mean, for a hockey coach, we coached
yeah,
the
he was
little
big in
kids.
hockey, huh?
Yeah, we coached the little kids, and you couldn't ask for a better person to start a bunch of kids down that path, because he was a quiet, stable voice that gave them confidence to do what they were doing.
Yeah, they will be missed.
Yes, ma'am.
4.3, Clerk of the Board, announcements for events. I think there's a couple
Yes, I
there.
have a couple. The first one is, there's gonna be a Townsend Public Forum on the type of housing we would like to see in our community. This is public housing. It's being sponsored by the Townsend Housing Authority and the MRPC, and it will be Saturday, October the 5th, 2019, from 10 to 2 p.m. sharp at the Townsend Public Library Senior Center, 12 Dudley Road, Townsend, Mass. Everyone with an interest in future housing options in Townsend, including residents, locals, state officials, business owners, accessory apartment landlords, and others, are welcome to attend.
Thank you.
And the second announcement I have is the National POW MIA Recognition Day will be observed on Friday, September 20th at the Townsend VFW post number 6538, and its auxiliary will conduct a candlelight POW MIA ceremony on the town common that evening beginning at 6:30 p.m., and the public is encouraged to attend. There's a whole bunch of things that go on with it. If you want me to read all the rest of it, or?
No,
No,
just,
No.
it's fine.
can we just get Carolyn to put it on the website,
Yeah.
Yeah,
both of those?
both of those,
Both of
yeah.
them.
Okay, 4.5, review approve the meeting minutes for August 16th, 2019.
Just get correspondence, but I don't
Whoops,
have anything.
I skipped correspondence. Nope, I didn't have any, did you? Okay. And the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minute meetings for August 16th, 2019.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
You didn't
Nope,
have any
looked
issues?
Okay to me.
Yep.
Okay. Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants.
I didn't notice, oh, it's right there. I make a motion that we sign the bills payable and payroll warrants out of session.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd just like to skip down for a minute. This is how we did the other pending business items. This is just to be able to keep track of what we have outstanding. So we've got a couple additions from tonight.
Yeah,
that
and
need
this,
to go on there.
this is only the things that I had on my list. I did not have a chance to sit with Jim to get the
That's
list
fine,
that you.
that's fine.
I guess we can take the water tank contract off now, too.
Uh,
Okay, so
yes.
water tank contract can come off, because
And
that
the
got
interim
done.
one is still a question.
Interim water supervisor is still pending, right?
Yep.
saw the union negotiation starts.
And cable contract, I did talk to Kate, and she was reaching out again to Comcast and Unitil for some costs, and I think she was gonna try to get us to the next meeting on that,
Okay.
okay? So I'm gonna put that on the agenda for next meeting.
And I think we should be coming
Sure.
close to setting a date for the fall town meeting, because the people have to back things up from there as to when things are due.
Well, not necessarily, okay? I think people think that that we have to tell them exactly what date it is in order for them to prepare an article or whatever.
Well, I know, and I'm sorry that she left, but I know that the Board of Health is working on one. They just want to make sure that they don't miss the deadline.
I understand, but we talked about this last time too, that they can do that. They can do it ahead of time.
And that's what they're doing, but again, there's a lot of work that entails, one
Okay.
of which is
The
working
reality
with.
is, until we have free cash, we don't know when the date is
Okay.
yet, okay? We're saying November, okay? So
The last 2 years, that hasn't happened in November.
it hasn't happened in November. I'm hopeful it will happen in November. And I did talk to her today too, but, you know, people don't have to wait. And I think Carolyn already has a folder that she's keeping,
She
because
does.
people
I
have
know.
already submitted some stuff, so.
Okay.
Okay. And if you could work with Jim on exactly what we're talking about. The union negotiation start dates are this week.
Okay, I know that he had one for one of your departments.
Right, and there are,
And
there are yours afterwards,
correct,
this Wednesday,
yeah,
okay?
except I can't do fire, which I think that was the one that's, or is that the police that starts Wednesday?
I wasn't involved with any of them yet.
He wasn't involved with any. It's, you're doing public safety, the 3 contracts.
I can't do fire.
You can't do fire,
So
okay?
Well,
so-
there's a question. My
Yeah.
son's not part of the union, but there was a question around whether or not I could do.
You need to talk with Adam.
Yes, I need
Okay.
to talk to that about it.
You need to talk with Adam on that, okay? And if that's the case, I'll take fire, it doesn't matter. But Jim and I have a meeting with the union, supervisors union, clerical, excuse me, first thing on Wednesday. So if you have questions about the dates, Jim has those.
Okay,
Fall town meeting, like we talked about, November sometime, but question mark, and we can leave that for when. Earmark for town common sidewalk, we can ask Jim to update us the next meeting. And IT update umbrella, I'm not sure what umbrella means.
okay, yes, because Carolyn said the same thing. I'm used
So
to the
you-
terminology where I came from. So what the umbrella means is that you have an IT department, okay? Not all IT falls under Barsom.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is gather in everything that has to do with IT, and put it under an umbrella so that we, as a board and other people, understand what our IT looks like, not only for us today, but for those who sit in this seat in the future. Because you have the police, which technically is separate, so who and what do they have? Who takes care of the contracts, servicing for them? There is, where the water system, I know the what do they call it, radar or skater system is an independent, which is not really under Bossum, but there are
Okay,
things
I don't
outside
really,
of it.
I don't wanna talk about it now, but I understand now what you're talking about. I'm thinking, just off the top of my head, that might be a good work session kind of thing. Or to say to the administration, can you figure this out and bring it to the board?
Yeah, and,
Because it really is administrative, it's not,
Right,
it's
right,
not
and-
so
and
much
I think-
us, but.
and it helps us as we look to allocate monies for things in the future for this, where it is, who takes care of it, and how it all interplays together. I mean, we've got now
Okay,
security
so
systems.
why don't we do that, we could just talk about it at the next meeting, but I see that is falling into, Jim's overall, you know, what's the plan, and that's kind of what we've been talking about too.
Okay.
Thank you for explaining those. Meanwhile, if you have other things that you wanna add to the agenda, you know, just tell Jim,
Yeah.
okay?
I have that.
And just as a process, if other things come up that you want to talk about, just talk with Jim about it and we'll put it on the agenda, just like I did for him tonight,
Okay,
okay?
yep.
All right, let's go back up to, and we'll work on cleaning up this list a little bit more too. But thank you for doing that, Don. 5.1, executive session.
I make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, executive session to discuss the strategy in respect to pending litigation where an open meeting may have detrimental effect to the litigation position of the town and the chairman of the board so declares.
I do.
Namely, Dochette and Associates Limited versus the Town of Townsend, Worcester Superior Court, docket number 1985, CV01115.
Can we just do them all, or?
Yeah, you can do them all,
Okay.
and we'll just, and we'll adjourn from there as well.
Okay, I make a motion that we go into executive session also pursuant to chapter.
Why don't we vote on each one?
All right.
Okay.
Second.
5.1, roll call, please,
Wayne Miller, yes.
Don Klein, yes.
and Sulicio, yes. Okay, 5.2,
We go into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A-3, executive session, discuss strategy with respect to the pending litigation. If an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the litigation position, and the chair so declares,
I do.
namely the Townsend Water Department versus the Town of Townsend, Middlesex Superior Court, docket number 1781, CV02286.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call, please,
Wayne Miller, yes.
Don Klein, yes.
Sulicio, yes.
I make a motion, we go into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining position or litigating position, and the chair so declares, reference the clerical union.
And I do declare.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor, roll call,
Wayne Miller, yes.
Don Klein, yes.
Sulicio, yes.
I make a motion, we go into executive session pursuant to Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, reference the police chief,
Second. And, sorry.
and to adjourn from executive session.
Okay, moved and seconded,
Second.
all those in favor,
Wayne Miller, yes.
Don Klein, yes.
and Sulicio, yes. And that will do it for this evening. Thank you all.